Hello all, we are with the chapter Heredity and Evolution. In my previous video, we have discussed about the introduction part of heredity, isn't it? We got to know the meaning of the word heredity, and then we started discussing about the Mendel's experiment. Who is a Mendel and what did Mendel contributed for the field of genetics? Right, based on his experiments, and what plant he considered for his experiments, and about the pea plant, its 7 contrasting characters, about a dominant trait and what do you mean by recessive trait. All of this we discussed in the last video, and in today's video we are mainly discussing about the Mendel's experiment with garden pea plant. But to understand Mendel's experiment, it is very important to know about few important terms that we use it in genetics, that is in studying heredity. Okay, if you can understand the meanings of these terms, I think your concept clarity becomes very much perfect. Okay, you can be very much clear and perfect with the concept. Once you know, once you have that perfection with the concept, then I think you can answer for any type of a question that is asked on a concept, isn't it? So first, let us try to understand the different terms that we use it during the study of Mendel's experiment, as well as about the concepts of heredity. Okay, the first and important term is gene. See, what do you mean by a gene? Gene is something that is present in our cells. Okay, each and every cell has something called gene. Okay, and this particular gene is responsible for a particular character. See, my hair color is black. This black color of hair is due to gene that have inside the cells. Okay, see, my skin color is brown. That means this brown skin is due to certain gene that is there inside my cells. So what I can write for gene is that thing. Okay, I'll tell exactly what the gene is, where it is present and all. Okay, just this particular gene is responsible for a particular character, for a particular trait or character. Okay, that is called gene. And where it is present? It is present in chromosomes. Okay, chromosomes. And where are these chromosomes present? How many chromosomes are there in a cell? Everything you should understand first. Okay, say we are going to discuss about a chromosome first. Once you know about a chromosome, you can very clearly understand about a gene, because gene is present in chromosomes, isn't it? Fine. Imagine each and every cell inside our body has chromosome. Each and every cell, guys. Okay, see, each and every organ is made up of tissues. Tissues are made up of cells. So each and every cell has so-called nucleus, isn't it? See, if this is a cell, it has a nucleus inside. Okay, and this nucleus includes chromosomes. Chromosomes are present inside the nucleus. Okay, and remember, guys, all cells except Gametes, except gametes. You know what do you mean by gametes? In our previous chapter we studied, isn't it? Gametes are nothing but sperms in case of male and egg in case of female. Okay? Every cell inside a human body except gametes, okay, has 46 chromosomes. How many chromosomes, guys? We have 46 chromosomes. Okay? And these 46 chromosomes are present in pairs. They are present in pairs. 46 means if you pair it, pair in the sense what? 2, group of 2. Okay? 46 chromosomes are present in 23 pairs, guys. Okay? Clear, everybody? Say for example, this is one pair of chromosome, first pair, okay, and this is another pair of chromosomes. This is how chromosomes looks like, okay. This is second pair, this is third pair, clear, and this is fourth pair, okay, like that. You know, you have fifth pair, sixth pair, seventh pair, eighth pair, like that. 23 pairs are there. Okay? So like this, 23 pairs are there. Got to know? 23 pairs in the sense, if you take single chromosomes, how many? 46 chromosomes. Okay? Fine. And now, among these 23 pairs, okay, among 23 pairs, you know, 22 are normal chromosomes, okay, and one pair is sex chromosomes. One pair is sex chromosomes, guys. Okay, that means these sex chromosomes decide whether a person is male or female. Male or female. Got to know? So among the 23 pairs, 22 are normal. We call them as autosomes. Normal chromosomes are called autosomes. Whereas the last pair, that is the 23rd pair, is what we call it as sex chromosomes. Okay. So this sex chromosomes decide whether a person is male or female. Clear? So this is about the number of chromosomes, guys. Okay, fine. And usually all cells, okay, which has 46 chromosomes, all the 46 chromosomes are arranged in pairs like that. Okay, so these cells are actually called as diploid cells. Okay, diploid cells in the sense chromosomes are present in pairs. Diploid cells in the sense chromosomes present in pairs. Okay, that means you have 46 chromosomes. Okay, whereas the gametes, okay, gametes are haploid. Okay, haploid in the sense, see, half of the chromosomes are only present in all the cells. Skin cells, liver, kidney, heart, whatever. In all the cells we have 23 pairs. That means 46 chromosomes we have. But in case of sperms and egg, okay, sperm is found in male, egg is found in female. We call them as gametes. When they combine only, a new individual is getting formed. All that we discussed in the previous chapter, right? So these gametes are actually called as haploid. Haploid in the sense only 23 chromosomes are present. How many, guys? Only 23 chromosomes are present. 46 are not there. 23 chromosomes are present, guys. Understood, everybody? Okay. So diploid in the sense what? All cells which have 46 chromosomes is called diploid. All cells are diploid only because we have 46 chromosomes. These 46 chromosomes are present in pairs. So if you talk the chromosomes in pairs, 23 pairs. Okay. But in case of gametes, that is sperm and egg, chromosomes are not present in pairs. Only one. In this pair, only one would be there. Okay, like that, 23 chromosomes are only present in these sperm and egg. 46 are not there. Half of the chromosomes only are present. Clear, everybody?
These are the 23 pairs of chromosomes that are present in our human cell. Each and every cell contains the 23 pairs. That means the 46 chromosome. You can see this is the first pair, second pair, third pair, fourth pair, fifth pair. Okay, like that. The 23rd pair, this is actually a 23rd pair where one of the chromosome is called as X chromosome and the other one is called as Y chromosome. Anyway, about this 23rd pair you will again discuss in sex determination. Actually these are the chromosomes, we call it as sex chromosomes. That means they will try to tell whether a person is male or female. Okay, actually this chromotype, 23 pairs of chromotype representing like this is called human karyotype. Clear? And you can see the diploid cells, in the sense all the cells which actually have the 23 pairs, that is 46 chromosomes, are called diploid cell, whereas the gametes, sperm and egg, have only one set of chromosome, right? Say this is one pair. From this pair, either this chromosome is present or this chromosome is present, not both together, where in case of sperm and egg. Okay, so only half the number of chromosomes are there in case of gametes, sperm and egg. So those gametes are actually called as haploid cells. Haploid in the sense only half the number of chromosomes are present. Diploid is full set of chromosomes are present. This is one set, this is second set where you have two chromosomes. Okay, here you see in the first set only one chromosome is there. So usually when two haploid cells, when sperm has half the number, likewise egg will have half the number. When they both fuse in the baby, that is in the zygote, you will find the complete set of chromosomes. That is all the 46 chromosomes would be present. Okay. So this is about diploid cells, that means the normal body cells. Haploid cells, that means only the gametes. Okay. That's all about chromosomes and its number in case of somatic cells as well as the sex cells, that is sperm as well as egg.
Okay, so now actually what happens is, during reproduction, if this is a father, okay, and if this is a mother, here, and father in his cell, okay, in his normal cell, okay, this is a normal cell. Normal cells, how many? 46 chromosomes are there, right? In father, in his normal cell, 46 chromosomes are there, and these chromosomes are arranged in pair. This is pair number 1 and this is pair number 2. Okay, like this. Mother also in her normal cell, similarly, 23 pairs are there. That means 46 chromosomes are there. This is pair number 1, pair number 2. Okay, and during reproduction, the father produces sperms. Okay, mother produces egg. Okay, these are now gametes. What are these? These are gametes. Yes or no? And in the sperm, from the first pair, only one chromosome would be present. Okay, from the second pair, one chromosome only is present. Similarly, from the third pair, only one chromosome will come. From the fourth pair, only one will come. Okay, so this is how, in case of sperm, how many chromosomes would be there? 23, guys. In normal cell, in all his normal cells, skin cells, muscle cells, in all his cells, 46 are there. Okay, but in case of sperm, in his sperm, all 46 chromosomes will not be there, guys. Okay, from first pair, only one would be there. From the second pair, only one would be there. From the third pair, one would be there. From fourth pair, one chromosome would be there. Okay, like that, how many chromosomes you will find? From 46, you will have only 23. Okay, and in case of egg also, okay, from her first set of chromosome, only one chromosome would be there. Okay, from the second set of chromosome also, only one chromosome would be there. So here also 23 chromosomes, right? And now these egg and sperm fuses, that is what we call fertilization. You get zygote. Okay, see, this is the chromosome that has come from first set of father. This is the chromosome that has come from second set of father. This is the chromosome that has come from first set of mother. This is the chromosome that has come from second set of mother. Right? See here, the chromosome from the father's first set, okay, will combine from chromosome from the mother's first set. Like that, here 23 chromosomes are there. Here 23 chromosomes are there. These 23 chromosomes will combine with these 23 chromosomes. Finally, number would be maintained. How many chromosomes you will have, guys? 46 chromosomes will be present in zygote. Okay, got to know? See, chromosome from father's first set will combine from chromosome from mother's first set. So baby will have this pair as a first set. Similarly, father's chromosome from second set will combine from mother's chromosome from second set. Say, second set of chromosomes are formed in a baby. This is the second set. Like that, third set, fourth set, fifth set will be formed by the combination of chromosome of father and chromosome of mother. Okay, so this is how number of chromosome is maintained even in a baby. So baby also, in his all cells, he will have 46 chromosomes exactly like his father and mother. Okay, but among the pair of chromosomes, this is the first pair of baby, but among his first pair, one chromosome is coming from father, another chromosome is coming from mother. Yes or no? Clear, everybody? So this is how chromosomes story occurs in human beings. Okay, why I told this long story of chromosome is because, you know, these chromosomes are made up of DNA. Okay, the so-called DNA. What is the full form of DNA, guys? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. This is a chemical, guys. Okay, say I will draw a chromosome here. One set of chromosomes. This is one set of chromosomes. Okay, so the entire chromosome is made up of a chemical called DNA. Okay, and some portion of DNA which is responsible for a particular character is called gene. Got to know? Some portion. Say this is entirely made up of DNA. This is entirely made up of DNA. This is entirely made up of DNA. This is entirely made up of DNA, guys. Some regions of DNA is responsible for a particular character. Character may be height, character may be skin color, character may be eye color, character may be hair color, character may be the size of a body, character may be a finger shape, ear shape, eye shape, shape of a body. You know, every character is because of certain portions of DNA that is present in chromosome. Okay, that certain fragments or portions of DNA only we will call it as gene. Okay, got to know? So some portions or fragments of DNA is called gene, which is responsible for a trait or character, isn't it? Got to know? Now, in these chromosomes, you have certain areas, that is certain fraction of DNA that is responsible for gene. I mean, that itself we call it as a gene, and the gene is a reason for a particular character. Okay, so now this is the first set of DNA. Okay, in this first set of DNA, maybe this portion is responsible for height character. This portion, this gene. Okay, like that in a chromosome, many genes will be there. See, this is another gene. This is another portion of DNA. Okay, from both the chromosomes. Maybe this particular gene is responsible for hair color. Got to know? We have 23 pairs now. In each pair, there are certain areas which we call them as gene. Gene is nothing but it's a DNA. Okay, there you actually have information regarding certain characters. Okay, say in this is the first pair of chromosome. Imagine this is the first pair of chromosome, guys. Here, this particular area of a chromosome has some information, and that information is what we call it as gene, and that is responsible for which character? For my height. Okay, so this portion of chromosome will decide whether I have to be taller, I have to grow as a taller person or shorter person. Okay, and this portion of a chromosome or DNA, or that is what we call gene, that portion of DNA, and this will tell what color has to be there for my hair, whether I should have brown hair or black hair. Got to know? So this is all about a chromosome. Inside a chromosome, this is how genes are present, and this is responsible for certain characters. Okay, got to know? Fine. So that means among the pair, one chromosome would have come from our father, another chromosome would have come from our mother. Yes or no? That we can understand here. Right? Now, let us go for another term called allele. Clear? Different forms of gene is called allele, guys. Different forms of gene is called allele. Confusing, isn't it? Let me explain you. Say, I told you there are 23 pairs of chromosomes, isn't it? One pair I will draw, first pair I will draw, okay? Say among the pair, this is one chromosome and this is another chromosome, okay? So this is our first pair, and this is first pair, like that 23 pairs are there, okay? Say among this first pair, we know how the pair has formed. This might have come from our father, this might have come from our mother. Yes. Say for example, in this has come from a father, no, in a pair, and this has a portion here, and this portion, you know, this particular DNA, the entire thing is made up of DNA only. This fraction of DNA has a information relating to height. Okay, so this fraction has a information relating to height. Okay, and in this chromosome also, you know, here this is the area that is relating to height. You see guys, it is there in the same places, yes or no? Say in this chromosome, this part of the DNA has a information relating to the character called height. In the next chromosome also, in the same pair, in another chromosome also, this part of the area is having an information relating to height. Okay, and now say imagine, and here relating to height in the sense, height can be of two types. One is tall, another one is dwarf. Okay, so imagine here tall is represented with capital T, dwarf is represented with small t, guys. Okay, so tall is in the character called height, tall trait is always dominant. In the previous video, among the 7 characters, in the character called height, tall is dominant, I told. Okay, and the dwarf character is recessive. Okay, so imagine in this chromosome, you know, this particular information is relating to height only, but what type of height, what trait of height, what different form of height, it is representing tallness. Okay, imagine here it is representing dwarfness. Okay, that is small t, I will write. Okay, so this might have come from mother. This might have come from, actually mother may be a shorter mother. Okay, so this particular area is relating to height. No, this height has a information relating to dwarfness. Okay, whereas the father is taller one maybe. Okay, that's the reason the chromosome that has come from a father, no, this particular area is relating to height, right? But this is having an information relating to tallness. That's why capital T I wrote. Okay, so this is what we will call it as genotype. This is what we call it as genotype. Okay, see, the tallness or dwarfness, okay, we represent with certain capital letters. Okay, so the genes I am representing in terms of some alphabetical letters. I am taking the help of alphabets and I am making my study more easier and more simplified. Okay, see, this is the area of the chromosome relating to height. This is the area of this chromosome relating to height. But here what type of height it is indicating? Tallness. Okay, so capital T I wrote. Here what type of height it is indicating? Small t. Small t. Okay, this is what genetic code for height of this person. Okay, this is the first pair of the chromosome which is present in a baby. Now baby has to be a tall or a dwarf. It depends on genotype, guys. It depends on genotype. Baby will be tall only. Why? Because the dominant character only is getting expressed in a baby always. Okay, got to know? See, this is the character, father, whatever chromosome come from a father, no, he is tall. So his genetic information, I wrote it as capital T for studying better. Okay, and mother is a dwarf female maybe. So her genetic information relating to height is dwarf, that is short, small t. This is the genotype of a baby DNA, okay, relating to height. Okay, so by looking at the genotype, you can tell whether a baby will be tall or dwarf. Genotype UT, small t, capital T is there. Small t, that means whichever gene that is dominant, you know, that only will get expressed in a baby. Okay, say dominant gene is tall, capital, when capital T is there, you know, this is only dominant. This suppresses this particular gene. Okay, whatever gene that is present here, you know, that will suppress, it will demotivate this gene. Okay, it becomes more energetic. This particular gene is more energetic, more active, so it will try to express in the future generation. So the baby is actually a taller one. He will grow up as a taller guy. Clear, everybody? Okay, and now each thing, each chromosome, see, to decide about a tallness of a baby, both genes are necessary, no? Okay, by looking at the combination of two genes, one from a father, one from a mother, you are telling what is the height of a baby. Okay, and here each gene from a chromosome, from a pair of chromosome is called allele. Okay, and here each thing is called as allele. This is one allele. This capital T is a allele responsible for tallness, okay, and this small t, okay, gene that is responsible for shortness, dwarfness. Clear? So this T, this each thing is called as allele. Each gene, see the definition, different forms of gene. This is one form of a gene, this is another form of a gene. Okay, both are relating to height only, but this is one form of a gene coming from mother, this is another form of a gene coming from father, right? And each form we will call it as allele. Clear? So this particular thing, this is another allele, okay, responsible for dwarfness. Okay, usually in the character called height, capital T means tall, small t in the sense dwarf. Always tallness is more dominant. Okay, if you have a gene for tallness, you know, that gene only will be expressed more, okay, will be active more in a baby. The gene which is active more in a baby, you know, that gene always predominates. Here, gene for tallness is working more in a baby. So the baby will grow out as a taller individual. Okay, but what is the genotype of a baby? Capital T, small t. He is a taller one only. Okay, the baby is going to be a taller one, but he also has a gene which is responsible for dwarfness. Remember, okay, baby is taller, that means he has only a gene for tallness? No, he also has a gene for dwarfness, isn't it? Keep this point in his mind. Though he has a gene for dwarfness, he is growing as a taller individual. Why? Because he has a dominant gene here. Capital T is dominant. Okay, remember, this way of writing genetic information is called genotype. Okay, okay, let us just get to know the meaning of the word phenotype as well as genotype. Okay, what do you mean by phenotype, guys? Physical appearance. Physical appearance of an individual is called phenotype, guys. Like just by looking you will identify, no, whether a person is taller or shorter. Say, looking at me, people identify as shorter person. This is my phenotype. Phenotype in the sense physical appearance. Okay, physically you can able to decide the character, whether someone is short or height, someone is having black hair or brown hair. You know, you can visualize physically. That is called phenotype. Okay, genotype, as I said it here, it is a genetic code. Genetic code written with the help of alphabets. Written with the help of alphabets. Okay, and this genetic code that tells about a particular that tells about a particular trait or character of a person. Okay, say for example, looking at the code, capital T, small t. Okay, you can tell a person will be a taller one or a shorter one, right? See, this is what we call genotype. Genotype in the sense genetic code, guys. This is what we call genetic code. We write that genetic code with the help of alphabets. Okay, say for example, capital T, small t is one particular genotype. Okay, looking at this, what you can tell is a person can be a tall because dominant gene is there. Okay, this is the one that will stay actively in case of a body. So this particular guy is responsible for the height. Since this guy is taller one, the person will also grow as a taller guy. Okay, and if you have this condition, say for example, mother is also tall, father is also tall, then what is the genotype you will have, guys? TT. Okay, then baby is definitely tall only. Okay, imagine if the father is dwarf, mother is also dwarf. Okay, another genotype possible is small t. If you have this condition, then baby is definitely short, that is dwarf. Yes or no? So this is what this way of representing genetic information. I am talking about genetic information. I am actually telling to people what character of height you have, tall or dwarf in this chromosome. Similarly, in this chromosome, tall or dwarf, you are telling to people about the genes present in a chromosome with the help of alphabets. Okay, so that is what we call genotype. Looking at the genotype also, you can decide whether a person is tall or dwarf. If you know what is a dominant character and recessive character. So if you know tall as a dominant, then looking at this genotype, you can tell, yeah, person will be tall. Okay, if small t is recessive one, looking at this, you can tell, you know, both small t's if you have, the person will be shorter. Okay, so like this is all about genotype. Okay, and now homozygous and heterozygous. So what do you mean by homozygous condition is if same type of alleles are present. If same type of alleles are present, then that particular condition is called as homozygous condition. Say for example, you see this genotype. Okay, each letter is called as allele, I told. Okay, each letter, this letter indicates what, guys? This letter indicates a particular gene present in chromosome of a particular set, isn't it? So each letter is what we call it as allele. This is one allele, this is one allele. Both alleles are same, you see. Okay, father is also taller, mother is also taller only. Then the genetic code is this TT. This is one allele, this is one allele. Both alleles same. Such a condition is called as homozygous. Okay, say capital T, small t, small t. Here also both alleles are same. Clear? And coming to the heterozygous, if different alleles are present, if different alleles are present, then that condition is called as heterozygous condition. Example, capital T, small t. See, this is a genotype, okay, for a particular character where capital T is one allele, small t is another allele. Okay, so in this genotype you can observe, in this code you can observe that alleles are different. This is a different allele, this is a different allele. Okay, this allele tells about tallness and this allele means about dwarfness. Clear? In a genotype, if you have same alleles, then that condition is called as homozygous. Okay, if you have different alleles, then such a condition is called as heterozygous. The meanings of this word is very, very important because questions are asked with the help of these words, guys. where you must clearly understand the meaning of homozygous and heterozygous. Okay, so this is what the basic thing one must understand very, very clearly to learn about Mendel's experiment.